Well, we're back and we're continuing our series with Dave Young at Caliber Home Loans in Plano. And we're going to talk today about FHA loans. I know a lot of you have heard that term before. I've heard the term before. I've done a lot of FHA loans, yet I don't really understand what it is, other than it's a government-sponsored program. So, Dave, tell us.
It's a government-sponsored program.
There you go.
Done. No, the FHA loan, the first myth that we have to overcome with an FHA loan is that they're not for first-time home buyers, right? So you could use an FHA loan for every one of your home purchases, as long as you sell a previous home or have an extenuating circumstance. So myth 2 is, hey, I've already used an FHA loan, I can't do it again. That's a myth. Sure you can. You can, as long as you sell your previous property, or you have an extenuating circumstance like job relocation. A lot of people are moving here to Texas because, you know, their company went out of business or they've got a promotion here in this area. That could be, depending on your other circumstances, a reason to get a second FHA loan.
Okay. So you're saying you can have 2 FHA loans at the same time?
Mm-hmm. With extenuating circumstances, you bet.
Okay. So what is an FHA loan?
So an FHA loan is pretty much just your standard conventional fixed rate or ARM product that has the backing of the federal government behind it. In the simplest terms, that's what it looks like. So what does that backing do for the average person like yourself? Well, that does a couple of things. One, it lessens the amount of down payment that you need, right? So instead of putting down 20% or even 5%, you can put down 3.5%, right? 2, it gives you more flexibility in your terms. So let's say debt to income ratios are a little bit higher, the FHA will accommodate for that, right? 3, it makes your asset qualifications a little bit more lenient than a conventional loan, right? You need a gift from great Aunt Sally, dang, that FHA accommodates for that. You want to, you know, parents, you're trying to help your kids purchase a home close to their college, you know, but they don't have a lot of credit because, let's face it, they're like 19 years old, right? FHA loans has kiddie programs that can help you with that. So there's a lot of benefits to having a loan that's securitized more so by the government to allow for more flexibility.
All right. So let's play devil's advocate here. We know about what happened in the financial crisis in 2007. A lot of that came from that, I forget the name of the act that had been written under Carter, signed under Clinton, that basically forced banks and lenders to give loans to people that really shouldn't have had loans.
Yeah.
And that led to a big crash.
Yeah.
So how does that affect this?
So, you know, a lot of people, FHA is kind of like a bit of a spin-off of that for the most part, right?
Okay.
So a lot of those programs have now gone under the field of like a bond program. So bond programs, you can literally purchase homes getting government grants or government bonds to help purchase those programs. Now, a lot of FHA programs are compatible with those bonds, but they're going to be a completely separate entity of its own. It's metamorphosized into a completely different program. And the FHA has taken up other characteristics as well. For instance, you can do FHA Rehab Loans, which are crazy popular for people who want to get the under market value home and want to do some structural or value improvements to the property.
So how does that work exactly? Is that a construction loan, or what is it called?
Yeah, so there's 2 variations of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's one with just basic renovations that you need to do. And a renovation isn't painting the walls. I know, you're going to have to pay for that out of pocket.
Right.
But let's say, you know, you purchase a home, and let's say it's a HUD home or a foreclosure or something like that, right? It
Sure.
needs some love, right? You might have to replace some drywall, maybe put in a new kitchen or something, right? If it's under a certain degree of rehab cost, you can do a Streamline FHA Rehab. Now, if you want to do the full rehab, that's a lot more documentation and a lot more paperwork. You got to get all of your contractors lined up. You got to get their bids. You got to get an escrow holdback. And these are things that you'd want to coordinate with a professional like Brian here to be able to set that expectation with the sellers, because the sellers are always want to close like tomorrow, right? And getting contractors' bids and everything lined up takes a lot more time. So what he's going to help you do is negotiate with the sellers the time frames, because A full FHA rehab is probably going to take 45 to 60 days.
Oh, long.
Right?
Okay.
Yep. Now, a normal FHA loan can close in anywhere from 2 weeks to 4 weeks, right? But the rehab ones, it might take us 2 weeks just to get bids in from the contractors, and then that's all got to go through underwriting. So it's all about setting the proper expectations up front, and then boils down to having the right professionals working with you. You know, you got to make sure that you've got a great real estate agent that knows and understands how to negotiate contracts, and you got to have a loan officer that knows what they're talking about when it comes to setting it all up. So it all depends on the home that you're purchasing, but my biggest thing is don't be afraid of the FHA loans. They're a wonderful program, not necessarily for first-time home buyers, but for anybody.
Okay, great. Anything else we should know about them?
Get them while they last.
All right. Again, as always, click on the link below to take a look at Dave's website and apply for a new home loan. And you can click on the link as well for me. It should be below there to take a look at my website, briancarlinrealtor.com, and you can search any house that's on the MLS.
Love the 2-minute tour.
That's right. Love the 2-minute tour. The 2minutetour.com. It's a YouTube channel. Talk to you soon.
See ya.